Hey guys, I wanted to go ahead and put some of our product on and tell you about it as I do it. Of course, it's not everything. We have tons of colors of everything, and there's some products that I don't use every day, but just to give you guys an idea of what can be used for what and kind of what I do. My eyebrows are microbladed, so I don't put anything on those, but there are things you can do for that before I forget. We do have a brow sense, and it comes in a tube that is, if I can find one, that's about the size of this. And one end has the product and one end has a brush where you kind of shake it, and then you can put the brow sense on, and then on the other end is like a brush like that where you could brush out your brow. And that does work. It's waterproof. It lasts all day. It could last multiple days on people that don't have really oily skin. One thing that I always did before I got my eyebrows microbladed, I have tried the brow sense, and I do like that. Color-wise, the Mocha Java always worked well on my eyebrows. And I would take some of that with a like angled brow brush and kind of just brush that into my brow evenly, and then other side brush it, kind of deal. Depending on the color of your brows would depend on the color. You could always use Garnet. I've got that somewhere. I've got too many shadow senses. Garnet is a darker color that you could use. It looks in the tube like it has a little red tint, but it would be a nice darker color brown on. Some people mix that, real dark-headed people can mix that with Onyx, which is our black, and it does make a really deep brown. And some people have used the smoked topaz, and it looks grayish green on, but when it applies, it's not that kind of color. Just a couple things you could do. I started with our silk. I put that on before I started because you let that sit for about 10 minutes before you put on your makeup is the best. And it's a wrinkle and pore minimizer. And when you put that on, you kind of rub it through your face. You can pat it, rub in a downward motion, but it will help where my pores are so big, kind of fill those pores. And it works as a primer on your makeup too if you want it to. You don't need it by any means, but it does work with my large pores and I like it. I sometimes, depending on my day, I start with my foundation. Sometimes I start with my eyes. It just depends on my mood, honestly. I think I'm going to start with my foundation. And this is our, just because of what I had it, so I opened it, our anti-aging foundation in Fawn. I typically use the non-anti-aging just because my skin is so oily that the anti-aging has a lot of moisturizers that don't help my oiliness. It doesn't necessarily hurt my oiliness, but it doesn't help. So I typically just use the standard Make Sense foundation, and it is better with my oily skin. But this anti-aging is technically better for your skin because of all the moisturizers and the nutrients that it does have and the anti-aging properties. It protects your skin a little better out in the sun, things like that. But I use the color Fawn. Sometimes I just use a tinted moisturizer, depends on my mood. The tinted moisturizer does provide a coverage. The tinted moisturizer is more like a sheer coverage, whereas these are more of a full coverage. And I have a decent amount of acne, so. As far as that goes, my green, I like to cover with a green color, our green color concealer. Green covers red, so I like to do that. If it's not too bad, I will just go in with my, I can't speak. Oh, that is way too much. If it's not too much, I will just go in with my light concealer and cover them up. But it covers up red. If you're someone that has super rosy cheeks, you could also put it over those super rosy cheeks and kind of cancel out that red. And this isn't anything that has to be perfectly on by any means. do that before your foundation. The light color concealer looks about like this. I use that if I just have like one little spot that I want to cover up. Like I've still got a couple spots up here, and can either take that in with a little brush. This one's just a little pencil brush, or I can take that with my hand, either one. And just kind of cover up those spots. I have a burn on I burned myself with a curling wand, and I'm trying to not cover that up because I want it to heal as quick as possible. If I cover it up, it's not going to. I can also use the light color concealer over where my eyelids are a little darker. I have used that before. If you do that, you can just put a little bit on your lid. And blend it out. A little bit goes a long way with this stuff. You can just kind of see a difference how it brightens out that eye versus this eye just looks a little dark. Nothing horribly crazy. You can use it under your eyes if you have real dark circles under your eyes. You could use it that way. I don't really have super dark circles. Sometimes they look a little tired on me. But you could do the same principle. Kind of brighten that eye up versus this eye. And I don't necessarily have dark circles, but you can still see the difference where this one's brighter than this one. I'll make them even since I did it. There should be probably enough product to just stick over my lid. And then we also have it's kind of like a highlighter. It's called Pearlizer. It's in the same bottle as our foundation. And you can mix it in with your foundation if you want all over glow on your face, or you can put it in certain spots that I'll show you where you can put those over. You don't have to by any means. It's just an option because I'm showing you what we can do with all of these different products. And I just put that foundation on the top of my brush. I don't like to use my hands just because I don't want it to get all over my hands and waste product. But you can put it on your hands and rub it in, whatever is more comfortable for you to do. And I just stipple this out. If you stipple the product, which is just essentially this blotting, you will get a better coverage. And that's out of any foundation that you use. If you stipple it, you're going to get a better coverage. If you just kind of go like that with it, you're going to still see like the little redness from your cheeks and things like that. So it just depends on how much coverage you want from your product. There's areas where I don't feel like I need as much coverage, and there's areas where I'd like a little bit more, typically around where my acne is. Sorry, you might hear my dogs wandering around the house too. They get a little bored, especially when I do videos. Okay. And that will give you a nice overall coverage, ignoring the burn on my neck. Lost my lid. And then there's a lot of things you can do if you wanted to highlight and contour. You can use, depending on how dark you are. I'm rather pale, so using the Light doesn't give me a lot of brightness under my eyes for that purpose. If you were a little darker skinned, you could use the light concealer under your eyes and those couple spots to highlight. You can use the white, you can mix them together. You could mix the white with your foundation, whatever's more comfortable for you. I haven't mixed the white and the light together in a little bit. I'm going to try and see what it looks like. Not looking for anything horribly dramatic. If you did just white, it would be a little bit more dramatic. Mix them together on the back of my brush. And it depends on how intense you want to get with highlighting. You highlight on top of your nose. A little spot on your forehead. Right above your lip is somewhere you could put just a little highlight. Under your eyes. And it's okay to bring that down a little bit, because you don't want to just have immediately under your eyes brighter. You want to bring that down a little bit. And everyone does this a little bit different. Everyone has different spots they want to highlight. Give me a year ago and I would have had no clue what any of this meant, so. A little bit more above my lip. And some people will highlight like right by their chin. I don't do that typically on myself because I put a little bronzer right there and drag it down. But if you brighten up under your eyes, right on top of your nose, right up there, and I'm just mixing on top of my foundation. Bronzing, we have bronze blush scents. We have these concealers. I have the light one that I use often. There is a medium that you could use if you're a darker skin tone than I am. The medium might cover your blemishes. The medium is too dark to cover mine, but a darker skin tone could cover your blemishes, and then the light could highlight into your eyes and do all this highlighting stuff that I mixed with the white. But I use our bronze blush scents because I've had it open for, I can't even tell you how long. It's been months, going on a year. You could use for a lighter kind of look, you could use Mocha Java. If you wanted a darker look, you could use Garnet wherever. Yeah, I just had it because I showed it to you and then I lost it. But you could use Garnet. That's going to give you a lot darker of a look. Bronze blush scents or Mocha Java. The Mocha Java is going to give you the most subtle kind of look. And that's where you want to just go. Like you can already kind of see where that bone sits right there. And you just want to blend out a little bit there. And depends on how defined you want that to look as to how much you blend that out. Do the same thing over on this side. And this Mocha Java is our shadow sense. It's just one of the uses you can use our shadow sense for. I could use Mocha Java for just about everything. I think it's the perfect color. I think everyone should have Mocha Java. You could put it on your lids, you could put it on your brows, you could bronze your face with it. then if you put a little bit on these spots of your nose, if you have a big nose like mine, and blend it out, you can give your nose the appearance like it's a little bit thinner. Not anything crazy, but maybe just a little bit thinner because I've got a big nose. And you can, my hair's not going to want to stay, and I got some where I don't want to, take some right at that jawline and blend it, and just kind of go down with it a little bit. Kind of define your jawline if you want to. And don't blend it out as much if you don't want it. If you want it more defined. The more defined you want it, the less you blend it. But that'll give you just a little bit of a bronzer at those marks. But so will the bronze blush scents. The Mocha Java is a way you could have a shadow, bronzer, do multiple things with one. The blush scents is made to be a bronzer. And then from an eye standpoint, I guess I'll go to eyes. Gonna do Candlelight. It's just a light basic color over my lids. And you can put this straight on. I'll do it different way in each one. You can put it kind of dab, that's probably more than I need, right on your lid and then blend it out. Or you can brush to wand and apply with a brush. When you go from using powder shadows to a cream to powder, it is just a little different at first, but you do get used to it. And this cream to powder shadow is smudge proof, water resistant, it lasts all day. And that's something that I always had a problem with eyeshadows, because in addition to my face being super oily, my lids are super oily. So nothing stayed, no matter what I did. I would use lid primer, I'd put it on, then I'd use setting spray over my whole face. And I could get foundations to last for the most part, but I couldn't get eyeshadows to last very well. It would always end up in my crease, or it'd wear off of out here, or definitely in here. It'd wear off everywhere, and it didn't look very good, and it was always disappointing because I'd spend good money on shadows and then they'd just wear off on me. And I definitely don't have this problem with these, and I love that. This one is Smoked Topaz. That's that one that kind of has that, in the tube it has that grayish, greenish. Looks really pretty on. And so do, we have it in a shimmer, and the shimmer looks really pretty too. I'm going to put some of it at the edge, and then I'm going to take my other side of my brush and just kind of blend that out a little bit. I love these two together. I think they look so pretty. And the cream to powder doesn't instantly dry when you put it on. You can put it on, then blend it out to what you want it to look. In maybe 10 minutes, it's completely dry. And where it's smudge proof, water resistant, all that. So you have some time where you can play with it and get it to do what you want it to. You're not like dead set the moment it touches your lid, which is nice. And then I have some Sandstone Pearl Shimmer, which is another light color like Candlelight, but it is slightly different, and this is a shimmer. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that color to kind of highlight by my brow bone up here. And right in my inner corner. This is just some random brush that I have, but it works for this purpose. My other brushes are a lot better, so this one does feel a little weird, but it gets the job done. You can also take a little bit under your eye if you get close to your... I did better on that one. I did not do good over here. I almost poked myself in the eye. There we go. If you want to brighten up under your eye just a little bit. And then what I've done for liner is we have a liner sense. Well, it's called iSense. Sorry, liner sense is for your lips. I don't order it because I don't necessarily think we need it with lip sense, or you could use a lip sense for a liner. iSense is a liner. You could also use shadow sense. Like this is Onyx Shadow Sense. You could take a brush and dip that in and use it as a liner. And you could also use Onyx as a dark color in your outer corner to blend. So that's a way you could use this for multiple purposes. You could use Smoke Topaz if you wanted a lighter color as a liner. You could use Garnet for a liner. I have multiple times. It just depends on your personal preference. I like our iSense because it's completely waterproof. It's like I can rub my eyes with as oily as they are, like rub them if they're itchy, and this doesn't move. And I love that. It's just as good as our lip sense as far as that goes. You could rub and it's not budging. But this has that little tiny brush. So you have to be steadier handed than I just was. I got that a little bit in my eye. If you catch it quick, you can brush some of that off. Ooh, some of that in your eye is not the friendliest. And this is just the brush that I use with my Smoke Topaz, so I can cover that up a little bit where I want some of that off, rubbing off my iSense. Let me pick up where I left off on it. I promise I usually have a steadier hand than that. I'm recording this at, I do have a watch on, 4 o'clock in the morning, so maybe that's why. And you can put a little of this, you can put this under your eye too. I usually just put a little bit in the, and a little bit in the corner of my under eye because I don't like a whole lot of liner under my eye anymore. I used to. I'm not the biggest fan of it. So I do just put a little of it. I still feel like I have something in my eye. Whew. It was a lash, that's why. Okay. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Just set that down. brush than it did. And I'm more used to using the shadows. These were out of stock for a long time and just came back in stock, so I'm still getting used to these myself, clearly. But I do really like them. And then I think my left eye is dry already. This takes a second to dry, not too long, and I didn't put a whole lot on, so I will curl my lashes. My lashes are long, but they're straight. And I've used our Lash Extend, which has made them pretty long. There's a lot of things out there you can use. Our Lash Extend, Rodan & Fields has their Lash Boost. Our Lash Extend is only $50 though, so it definitely makes a difference. I put on false lashes sometimes. I'm not going to do that today just because it's 4 o'clock in the morning, so I don't really have anywhere to go. If you're looking for a longer lash look. Curling your lashes before you put on mascara helps. We have an undersense with our lash sense that you can use, and it's kind of like a lash builder when you put on your mascara. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But it does have that kind of gray look to it when you first put that on. You don't need a lot to put it on, but when you put it on, you do have to let it dry for a minute. And put it on like you would if you ever put on a lash builder before, or just put on like you would mascara. Kind of shake your lash a little bit with it. You could put it on to your bottom lashes too if you want to. You don't have to, but you can. I've got about a mess over here. And then I'm going to put on our Black Lash Sense over it. I've used all the other side of this, really. So, Black Lash Sense, which is what is in the other side of this. And our Lash Sense is waterproof. It is long-lasting. It doesn't transfer from my lashes to my face, which is a big complaint that I've had out of other mascaras. So, I am definitely a fan. I've tried to go back to other mascaras, and sometimes I like them for my top lashes as long as they're curled. If they're not curled and they're too straight, then I still get transfer from other mascaras to my face, and then it irritates me. And I always go back to our Lash Sense. But it does make a huge lash. Our Lash Sense makes my lashes look even longer. It's crazy. And it just looks like a normal tube of mascara. So I definitely can't complain. I just love it. I think it's crazy. Look at them. They're long anyways, and this stuff just makes them look even longer. I could do this all day. Okay. I should stop. we have powders. My skin is so oily that I need to use them. I use the natural, the bronze dust, and the silver rose. You can use the silver rose instead of using a blush if you don't really like much of a blushy look. You just want a light color, but I do like a blushy look. I usually use our toasted rose a lot, and I do use our pink berry quite frequently. It is very pigmented, so you have to use a very small amount of it. This thing will probably last you multiple years because you have to use so little of it. But I like our toasted rose. You don't need a lot of it. Probably that much is plenty. Sometimes I will mix our blush with our pearlizer. But I definitely like a blush. It's like a must-have in my life. So I usually use the toasted rose because it gives me a nice color, but it's not too much. It's a nice kind of work look for me. And then the natural, it's a light colored powder, and I'm almost out of it. I've used it for almost a year now. It's a nice color. You have to kind of get some powder through it when you use it. It's a nice color. It looks light, but even when I was tan, I still use the same color because it's just a natural kind of neutral color that looks lighter than it is. And I put that all over my face, kind of set my makeup. You don't necessarily need it. I use it because I am so oily that our powders will absorb oil from your skin, and they will continue to absorb oils in your skin throughout the day. You could keep it in your purse and reuse it if you needed to. My skin is so oily that after about 7-8 hours that I need to, but most people don't. I just have really, really, really oily skin. But it is made to continue to absorb oils in your skin so you don't have a shiny, oily look to your skin in a couple hours. The bronze, I don't use a whole lot of this. I barely use out of it when I do. If you aren't cautious, you will end up with a lot of it, and I just put that over the spots that I bronze, so to say, the spots that I already